The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Money Radio staff, management, or advertisers, and do not represent an offer to buy or sell any securities. Some interviews heard on this program may be sponsored by the participants. It's time for Health Futures with Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth. This is Arizona's only show dedicated to providing you with expert advice on how to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. To learn more, call 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Health Futures, taking stock in you. We're coming at you live from the Scottsdale Air Park. It is Friday, June the 16th, and a little warm outside. We are definitely in the dog days of summer. They're calling for 120 degrees, I think, come Monday or Tuesday. So if you're not able to cook inside, you can certainly cook outside. The great pleasures of living here in the Valley of the Sun. You know, we get 9 months that are just amazing. So, this is our winter, and we can just grin and bear it. If you're just tuning into the show for the very first time, Health Futures is a show about how our older adult population can live a healthier, happier life. And how do I bring the show about? I bring it by bringing extraordinary guests here to the show. And today is no different. I've got some amazing guests here on the show that I'll introduce in a second here. If you want to check out our previous shows and learn more about this programming that we have here, go to our website at cypresshomecare.com. Click on the media button. You'll get a drop down, and there'll be a button there for radio shows. And you'll be able to check out not only this show after today's show, but you'll be able to check out about 160 others that we've been bringing to you for the last 4.5 years. And I tell you to go to Cypress Home Care's website because that's the company my family owns. Cypress Home Care is an in-home care provider. We provide home care caregivers that really make a difference in people's lives. And basically, the optimum word I use often is we assist. We assist with people that want to age in place, and we do that by bringing extraordinary caregivers to them to help them do so. And I liken our caregivers to being more surrogate sons and daughters who are really that helpful hand, that extra pair of hands, that extra pair of feet, eyes, and ears to help them successfully age in place. We know, and I've shared it here on the show, statistically, 92% of our older adult population, I'm talking those 65 and older, want to age in place. And if they can, why not? And if they can't do that with the help of a spouse, a child, or another family member, or neighbor, or friend, an employer-based home care agency like Cypress is a great solution for you. There are some other great employer-based agencies here in the Valley, so feel free to reach out to them or call us, and we'll get you and we'll help you navigate to that best solution for you. And I want to leave just with this last parting comment before we get right to the show, the nuts and bolts of our show, and that is we're always looking for caregivers. And I want to make an appeal because, we can't just find enough good people. And if you're listening to this show and you're one of those caring spirits and you really enjoy people and want to make a difference in somebody's life, reach out to us. If you know of somebody, a family member, friend, neighbor, somebody that you know is that caring spirit, have them call us at 602-264-8009. What makes our company great is people, and people are everything. So let's get on with the show. So today I have 3 extraordinary guests here on the show, and I will start with my left because I've got a great colleague of mine that we just recently got reacquainted. She was with our company for about 7.5 years. Took a little hiatus and came back, and we're really excited about having her back on the team. Laurie Fox, she is our client services representative, and she does so much more than just client service representation, but Welcome to the show, Laurie. This is your first time?
Thank you, Bob.
It's first time on the radio?
Yeah, well, first time on your radio show.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And just to her left and my left as well is Richard Filley. And Richard is part of the ASU Engineering Entrepreneurship Program.
Right.
You are the entrepreneurship lead faculty for ASU. And I met you a couple months ago and just very impressed with what you're doing with those kids there at ASU, and wanted to bring you on the show to talk about innovations and the stuff that you're doing there. And I'm so happy to have you here on the show. Welcome to the show, Richard.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Good to have you here. And just to my right and to the left of Richard is Crystal Littlejohn. And I've had the pleasure of knowing you for probably all of my 14 years of running my company and being in the older adult market. And Crystal has this really great company called Geriatric Care Management, and she is, it's Geriatric Resources, and they're a geriatric care management company, and they do extraordinary things with our older adult population, helping them navigate to the best solutions that are possible for them. So welcome to the show, Crystal.
I'm honored to be here, Bob. Thanks so much.
Well, it's good to have you both, or all three of you, here. And I've talked about it here on the show many, many times. There are three things that are going to really help us as a community age successfully in place. And that is, one is it's going to be public policy. And we're not talking public policy here today. I don't have any lawmakers in here. I don't have any lobbyists in here. But I really believe that we have to engage our government to really write policy to help our families and the caregivers be able to age successfully in place. The other part is innovations and technologies, and that's why I invited Richard here to the show. And the last part is people. And people really make the biggest difference, and we need to get more people into this community. And I'm talking about people in your position, Crystal, and people like Laurie, who is a navigator for us and helping so many people in our community to navigate to the best solution possible. So I know that this opening has taken up a lot of our first segment, but I want to make quickly the introduction to Crystal. And Crystal, you're a healthcare professional. You've been in this business for how long?
Well, I like to say I was born in it. Since very young, high school in fact, I took a course called Health Occupations. I emerged from that course with a CNA registration back in New Hampshire. And
where in New Hampshire?
Portsmouth.
Oh, wow. I know Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Beautiful town.
It is indeed. But I have continued in the senior industry unwaveringly throughout my career.
And when I met you, you were an executive director of a community, CCRC.
An assisted living community.
It was an assisted living community.
It was.
And I've seen you grow and build this business, and I want you to share when we go into the second segment about what is geriatric care management.
I'd love to.
And Richard, you've been over at ASU for how long? And
almost 32 years.
32 years, and has it all been with the engineering program and entrepreneurship?
Yes, in one form or another. I did run a leadership program for about 20 years, but I've been in the IRA Fulton Schools of Engineering for my whole stay at ASU.
And have you ever really calculated the number of students that you've actually had as students and had an impact on their lives?
I think I lost track at about 3,000.
Wow. No, that is incredible. And you're not originally from here either. Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and you're from?
Seattle,
where the sun doesn't shine all the time, and it never gets to 120 degrees there.
No, but I was there 3 summers ago when it hit 106, and people were losing their minds.
Oh, I would imagine.
And I'm like, this is just another summer day.
They got great coffee there, don't they?
They do.
And they throw their fish around all the time.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun down at the Pike Place Market.
It really is. And Laurie Fox, you have been in this business since, I think it was 1999?
Exactly.
Yeah, right at the turn of the century. And you have this caring spirit, caring heart. You are a caregiver right to the core. And I know that you were a caregiver for your mommy for many, many years.
Most important job ever.
It is definitely the most important job. And I said this at the top of the show. I mean, you know what? I really think that there's no better caregiver than a family member if they can do it. And not everybody can. And it's not that they don't want to, but some families have, children that are raising their own. Some of them aren't living here. And some of them just aren't wired or built to be that caregiver. So, if you can do it, great. But if you can't, then you should look to other family members or even neighbors or friends to help out. And then if you can't do that, then that's when you look to employer-based agencies like Cypress HomeCare Solutions to be that solution for you. So it is Friday, and it is Bruce Springsteen. Thank you, James. You got a little Bruce Springsteen taking us out. You're listening to Health Futures. I've got some extraordinary guests here in the show. I've got Crystal Littlejohn from Geriatric Resources. I've got Richard Filley from ASU, from the engineering school, the entrepreneurship program. And I've got Laurie Fox, who returned to Cypress not that long ago and is making an extraordinary difference in people's lives every single day. We're down one segment. We'll be right back.
Arizona investment property experts are now your Mexico investment property experts. Join investment property experts for an informative Investing in Mexico real estate workshop. Learn about investing in Puerto Peñasco, Mexico, and how you can earn a net 15% annual return. IPX's crown jewel in Mexico is the Esmeralda Resort, located on Sandy Beach in Puerto Peñasco, Mexico. Puerto Peñasco is the popular beach getaway known as Rocky Point. Only 3.5 hours away from Phoenix, Arizona, this is the perfect investment and vacation opportunity for you. As an investor, you will not only earn 15%, but you will have access to numerous investment projects. Currently, we are offering Esmeralda investors discounted lots, houses, and condos that can be purchased and flipped. And best of all, everything is 100% turnkey. With the home port commencing construction this year and its planned completion in 2019, this project will be a big boost to the economy and investment real estate in Rocky Point. Learn more by attending an informative workshop. Call 602-254-6244 or visit ArizonaInvestmentPropertyExperts.com.
Hey, Money Radio listeners, this is Gary Kaltbaum. Make sure you tune in for my show, Investor's Edge. You'll get my take on the markets and the world and what to look out for tomorrow. Investor's Edge is one of Money Radio's longest-running shows, so don't miss it.
You can listen to Investor's Edge Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. here on Money Radio 1510 AM and 105.3 FM.
If you're listening to this message, then that's a good sign. In fact, we're always interested in good signs. Good signs identify people and places. Good signs communicate important information. With our business, we not only encourage good signs, we create them. We're Croy Sign Systems. Our signs identify, direct, and inform so you can navigate through life faster and easier. And that's a really good Croy sign. Call Croy Sign Systems today at 480-619-6070 or visit us online at kroysigns.com.
Attention diabetics. With insurance, you may qualify to get your testing supplies at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call 800-808-5181.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. We're on our second segment, and we're coming at you live from the Scottsdale Air Park. And if you missed the first segment, you'll want to go to our website at cypresshomecare.com. Click on the media button, drop down to the radio show, and you'll be able to catch the first segment and a bunch of others that we've been bringing to you for the last 4.5 years. So I wanted to really, take this opportunity. First of all, I want to let, if you're just tuning in, I've got 3 extraordinary guests here in the studio. I've got Crystal Littlejohn, who owns a geriatric care management company called Geriatric Resources. I got Richard Filley from ASU. He's from the engineering school, the entrepreneurship program. And I've got Laurie Fox from Cypress HomeCare Solutions. She's our client services representative. But I also want to just, recognize and take a second and recognize that yesterday was World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. And, there is a lot of elder abuse that's going on. And A lot of it's not getting reported, and I want to just let our listening audience know that please, look for signs. Look for signs, and we got Adult Protective Services here. We've got the Task Force Against Senior Abuse for the Attorney General's office. You can contact them. There's lots of resources, or you can call the Area Agency on Aging 24-hour senior helpline, and that number is 602-264-4357. But, I'll give you some daunting stats, and that is 1 in 6 older adults experience some form of abuse in this past year. 1 in 6. So be on the lookout for those signs. It's a shame that we have to take a day to recognize that we should be taken every single day. If you suspect it, you should make the phone call. What do they say? I forget that line. See something, say something. There you go. If you see something, say something. So, certainly we have to be protective of our elders. Our elders are the ones that really shaped our community and made what we have today. And without them, we wouldn't be doing the things that we're able to do in this great country and these great communities of ours. So I'm going to turn to you, Crystal, because you are in the aging space and you have had this desire since you were in high school when you became a CNA. And I don't really know if our listening audience really understands what geriatric management is, geriatric care management. And I want you to, if you could, just paint a picture and describe to our audience, what do you do?
Absolutely. And I know this is going to appear to be a very long-winded answer to what seems to be a very simplistic question. But I think if I could have you consider that most of our clientele, most of the seniors that are out there, have individuals who touch their lives that all operate in silos, that all operate compartmentally. So they may have a physical therapist that comes to see them that focuses on that aspect. They may have the yard man who focuses on that aspect. They go to see their physician. He focuses on what they present at that moment when they're in the office. And there's not really anybody who seeks to decompartmentalize all of those areas so that that individual is being looked at more as a whole person. And so if I were to put it simply, geriatric care management, for lack of a better term, we're the decompartmentalizers. We are the individuals who come in, who observe that individual, who observe their needs, the formal and informal supports that they have in place, recognize whatever areas that they're unable to fulfill without some sort of outside assistance, and then we help them find access to that service and bring that service to them wherever they call home. So many of the geriatric care management firms operate differently. Ours happens to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Wow.
So if our clients, once onto our care, run into an emergency at 2 a.m. and have to go to the emergency room, then we're getting up and going to the emergency room with them and remaining with them until they're admitted or discharged. Anyone who's really had a hospital experience can attest to the fact that you become your set of symptoms as opposed to the individual who came into the hospital, whether it be via stretcher or on their own 2 feet. And so we seek to personalize that experience. Sometimes we have to say this person was not like this if they're having cognitive difficulties 24 hours ago. So
Right.
we have to tell the picture, advocate, and help that individual gain access to the service that they need. We're also that sort of communication among the other silos that help us to treat whole person.
You're like a guardian angel.
We are. A football analogy, everybody thinks of us as the quarterback.
Right.
I think more of a scientific analogy, we're the nucleus.
And you centralize everything. Everything comes through you, and you make sure that the necessary services, the necessary individuals, the necessary things get brought into this person's life.
Correct. And I mean, let me just correct one thing about that. It's not always the communication coming directly to us because we're never a decision maker. So it may very well be that that client is faced with that circumstance where they're not sure what to do. More than likely, we're either the first or second call they make to try to figure out what's going on and what the best possible course of action is.
So I would imagine geriatric resources isn't just Crystal Littlejohn. You've got a village. You've got a team. You've got a remarkable team. I have a remarkable team. I have 2 other care managers out in the field for me, Luann Arvinen and Val Litchi, and I have 3 amazing supports in the office, Petra Romero, who is our office manager extraordinaire. I have Chelsea Faulkner, who came to us as an intern, and we realized the incredible value that she brought to the company. She's now hired on with us. And Gail Leith, who works with us on Fridays. So it takes a village. Well, I think I know at least half of them. So you've got great people that work for you. And, you know, I must say, I think the burning question that I have, and I speak for our listening audience, is how does one engage your services? How does that happen?
You would be surprised at the diversity of how people make their way to us. More often than not, it's an adult child who lives geographically distant from their parents. They're recognizing or being told by individuals, you need to do something for your mom or your dad. Those people aren't necessarily qualifying that to help the family know exactly what to do. So many times we get involved because the family member calls us to say, I don't exactly know what's going on, but I can't keep coming to Arizona every 3 weeks because something has changed for mom or dad. So the value add of our service is not just for the client themselves, but for their circle of influence, those adult children who are traveling back and forth to our state repeatedly because one thing or another has happened for mom or dad. Better that we can get in touch with that family member and say, we are in the emergency room with your mom. Here's what happened. Here's what we're doing. And here are the next steps so that that family member can have peace of mind without having to physically be here.
You know, the nice thing, and as I hear you talk about this, especially with the adult children and family members that can't be here, is I'm sure when you engage somebody and you do the formal intake, you ask a lot of questions that we've talked about right here on our show, and I'm specifically talking about their wishes, memorialization, and I would imagine that not everybody has everything in order when they come to you, and you help them get to that.
We do. The start of our service is typically a comprehensive assessment. So I'm spending 2.5 hours with that individual in their home, really trying to ascertain not just what they have in place and what they've taken care of and what their wishes are, but those things that they may not have considered in terms of, do they have trust documents? Have they designated someone who will make decisions even if they temporarily become unable to do that? Have they gotten, legal affairs? What decisions need to be made medically? And what areas their strengths as well as areas of need? So that's where it all begins.
That is amazing. And I will tell you that you say 2.5 hours. I know that that's sometimes the goal, but we work with a lot of older adults. Sometimes it goes a lot longer. We're at halftime here. You're listening to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. We're going to take a break. We'll be back for the second half in just a couple minutes.
As we reach the bottom of the hour, we pause for a look at the world's news. Then we're back with Money Talk. We're Money Radio 1510 AM and 105.3 FM.
President Trump has announced changes in U.S. regulations on Cuba today while visiting Miami's Little Havana. Correspondent Jim Acosta.
Not everybody in Miami is in favor of a full reversal of the Obama administration policy. That's why you're seeing the Trump administration still allowing Cuban Americans to travel back and forth and send remittances, send money back to their abuelas and their relatives and so forth back in Cuba, because a total reversal of this policy would even outrage some of the hardliners that are in this crowd today.
The New York Times has gone to court to try to get copies of documents created by fired FBI Director James Comey after his conversations with President Trump. The Times sued today in Manhattan federal court, saying the government failed to respond properly to its Freedom of Information Act request. Congressman Steve Scalise remains hospitalized in critical condition in Washington, D.C., but doctors say they are encouraged by his progress. Scalise was shot during an early morning baseball practice in Alexandria, Virginia. On Wall Street, the Dow up 6 points. I'm Ann Cates.
I'm KFC's Extra Crispy Colonel, and you're the extra busy regular person who has to make dinner for a family of 4. But you can shirk that responsibility because my Extra Crispy $20 fill-up from KFC contains 8 pieces of freshly double-breaded extra crispy chicken, 4 biscuits, 2 orders of mashed potatoes, and a side of coleslaw for just $20. That'll feed them. KFC, it's extra crispy good.
Pricing and participation may vary. Tax and substitutions extra.
Worry less with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual saved me almost $800 when I switched my home and auto insurance.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, I got the perfect coverage for us, and I didn't have to worry about skimping on Emma's party.
Oh, well, that explains the...
Holly! Best birthday ever!
Visit us online to get a quote. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide survey of new customers. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
For a happier life, remember, it's your money. Be smart with it. And listening every day to Money Radio will cause your money IQ to go up, way up.
Hey, Phoenix, Larry Kudlow here. Be sure to join me every Saturday at 2 p.m. on the Southwest's longest-running financial talk radio station, the one and only Money Radio. And during the week, don't miss Mastering Money with hosts Steve Jurich and Ken Morgan daily at 8 a.m. right here on Money Radio 1510 AM and 105.3 FM.
For podcasts, download the free Mastering Money app for both Apple and Android and visit masteringmoneyradio.com.
Wow, Arizona loves Even Stevens sandwiches. This is Steve Down, founder of Even Stevens. At Even Stevens, for every delicious sandwich we serve, we give a sandwich to a local nonprofit partner. Sandwich for sandwich. My vision is to serve and give 1 million sandwiches every day. But you may be surprised to hear that I'm most passionate about my company, Financially Fit. I want you to wake up to the fact that you can be out of debt in 5 years or less, including paying off your home, and create wealth sooner than you ever thought possible. Imagine becoming financially fit in record time. Call for your free audio to learn how thousands are becoming financially fit at 888-7-WAKE-UP. 888-7-WAKE-UP. That's 888-792-5387. 888-792-5387. Thanks for loving Even Stevens, and I know you'll love Financially Fit.
You wouldn't dive into a pool without knowing how deep it is. So why would you dig without knowing what's below? Underground utilities are buried all over Arizona. Accidentally strike one and you could be injured, or wipe out services like water, power, and internet. Call 811 or click Arizona811.com to have utilities marked first. It's free, easy, and it's the law. Remember, call 811 or click Arizona811.com. Sponsored by Arizona 811 in partnership with the Arizona Broadcasters Association and this station.
Drug or alcohol problems for you or a loved one can be solved. And with insurance, treatment may be little or no cost to you. Call the Detox and Treatment Helpline now, 800-430-4149.
Bruce Vail with Your Money Now. U.S. new home construction declined for the third straight month in May, signaling a softening in home building at a time of tight supply. The Commerce Department said housing starts were down 5.5% from April, led by continued weakness in multifamily construction. Residential building permits, which indicate future construction, fell 4.9% from the previous month. Still, for the first 5 months of the year, new home construction is up from a year ago. Walmart is buying the online men's clothing retailer Bonobos for $310 million, showing that its appetite for hip clothing brands shows no sign of abating. Bonobos is privately held. The company started out selling pants online. It caters to male shoppers looking for help putting together a wardrobe. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 2 points. The Nasdaq is down 15. The S&P 500 is down 2 points. That's Your Money Now.
If you run your own business, when you're not on the job,
You're on the road, in your van. Signs that say detour and do not enter are just plain bad for business. Well, here's a sign that's great for business. It says 0% financing and up to 2 years complimentary scheduled maintenance on Mercedes-Benz Sprinter or Metris vans. Powerful, capable, and affordable. That's Mercedes-Benz Van Power. With pioneering safety technologies and low total cost of ownership, Mercedes-Benz vans are the right choice for your business. Check out the full lineup of Mercedes-Benz vans starting at just $25,995. 0% financing and up to 2 years complimentary scheduled maintenance. That's van power for all. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Starting at price refers to base model Metris worker cargo van. Excludes all options, taxes, title registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep fee. Please see your dealer or go to mvvans.com for further details and exclusions.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Health Futures, taking stock in you. And if you're just tuning in, we're on our second half here. We're coming at you live from the Scottsdale Air Park. It is Friday, June the 16th, and I've got three extraordinary guests here in the studio. I've got my colleague, Laurie Fox, who's our client services representative, here in the studio with me. I've got Richard Filley, who's a professor over at ASU in the engineering school and runs the entrepreneurship program. And I've got Crystal Littlejohn, who you just heard from in the second segment. She runs a company called Geriatric Resources, and they're a geriatric management company. And if you missed her segment, please go to our website at cypresshomecare.com, click on the media button, drop down to the radio show, and you'll be able to catch the first two segments and hear Crystal. And you'll hear Crystal now because we're going to talk a little bit more. We got two more segments here, and I want to jump over and introduce Richard Filley. And Richard is somebody I met a couple months ago, and I've talked about it here on our show. Aging 2.0, 0.0, whatever you want to call it, is a movement that I'm part of. It started about 5 years ago in the Silicon Valley by a gentleman by the name of Stephen Johnston and Katie Fike. And both of them are Silicon Valley and venture capital veterans, and they saw the need to create a space that would promote innovation, technological advances, helping the aging world. As Stephen Johnston likes to say, Aging 2.0 is a curator of these innovations, and it promotes them. It's a great platform for these discoveries to happen. So we have over 50 chapters across the world, not just this country, across the world, and each chapter does a global startup challenge. We did one 2 years ago. We did it in Central Phoenix. We did it at SeedSpot, and our winner, silvernest.com, went on to finish runner-up at the National Pitch Contest in San Francisco. And then just a couple months ago, we ran our pitch contest here for this year, and we did it at ASU SkySong. And Sidney Peck, who used to be our ambassador, arranged it with Richard Filley and his team to have it simultaneous with the Venture Devils Startup Challenge that they were having. So both of us were doing our challenges, and then together we announced our winners. They had about 700 to 800 people in the room. I will tell you about 95% of them were 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and the energy that emanated from that room was amazing. I mean, it still lives with me today, and it motivates me, and it gives me so much hope for our future, knowing that we've got these kids out there with these innovative minds. You know, and they gave me the opportunity to announce our winners first, and they gave our winners a roaring applause. Elder Sense, which is not a placement company, but it's a location where people can find new places for older adults to live, whether it be a group home, assisted living facility, or a CCRC. It's like a hotels.com. They were our runner-up. And then a company called Smart Brain Aging was our winner. And this is where I met Richard, and I've invited Richard to the show because innovation is in his DNA. So, Richard, I would love for you to talk to us a little bit about what you're doing at ASU. Talk to us about Venture Devils. I don't know enough about it, and I'd love to learn about some of your classes, some of your students, and some of the things that you're doing.
Sure. It's easy to be a professor who teaches entrepreneurship when the leadership of the university are world-class entrepreneurs. So you really can't talk about ASU and entrepreneurship without first acknowledging that Michael Crow, our president, is a world-class entrepreneur. And from the beginning of his stay at ASU 15 years ago, he laid out one of the major goals for the university to be entrepreneurial, to be involved and engaged in our community. And that has just trickled down. So we have this operation at ASU that's based at Skysong called Entrepreneurship and Innovation, headed up by Jimmy Choi. And Jimmy reaches out across the entire university because you find entrepreneurs in so many different places at ASU, including the Ira A. Fulton Schools of Engineering, where I've had a career of over 30 years. And Brent Siebold, I want to acknowledge, he runs the Engineering Entrepreneurship Center. I was with Brent and Jimmy in Boston at a conference just a few days ago. And at that conference last year, they named ASU the nation's most entrepreneurial university. Last 2 years running, U.S. News & World Report has named us the nation's most innovative university.
And can I pause for a second? Because I met Jimmy Choi about 6 months ago, and she was presenting to Sun Health Foundation at their community retreat, and she indicated that the entrepreneurship program in the engineering school at ASU is number one in the country, and it's ahead of MIT.
Yes,
it's ahead of Stanford.
Yeah,
it's ahead of Harvard.
Right.
Some pretty big schools. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, we've partnered with Starbucks, so all of their U.S. partners, employees worldwide, across the U.S., and I think some worldwide, are able to get basically a free college degree at ASU. The program began 3 years ago. Now we have over 5,000 students enrolled, and this past spring we had 400 graduates.
Wow.
First-generation students, never been to college. It's fantastic. And Howard Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks, actually came and spoke at our commencement. So
I saw that.
That's an example where we're partnering with world-class entrepreneurs and helping make new opportunities available. And I actually have a lot of Starbucks partners in my classes through that program.
Amazing. I get chills. I really do. And it's an incredible partnership you have.
Yeah. So basically, I teach several classes, of course, in entrepreneurship, and in one of them, I teach both online and face-to-face. So it's fun because I'm teaching the same class to mostly typical college students, freshmen, sophomores, 17, 18, 19 years old, maybe into their early 20s. But I also teach it online, where the students are a little bit older, in their late 20s, on up. I've got a student this semester in her 60s. They're located across the nation and around the world. So what we do in that class is take up real-world challenges where we actually tackle opportunities to use technology in innovative and entrepreneurial ways, and maybe even be disruptive. So this year we've done that with Disney ABC Television out of Burbank, California. Next year, it's getting so big, I'm looking for multiple projects. And one of those is going to be a partnership with Aging 2.0, where there's all kinds of good things I see happening in terms of technology. But maybe the one that's most exciting is the cross-generational connection that's going to be made, where millennials who, despite what a lot of people think, I love millennials. They're maybe the most entrepreneurial and innovative generation in history. They're extremely technology savvy. They want to change the world and make a difference. And you know what? They know how to do it. So I want to help them in this class with some actual opportunities to use technologies that will make life easier for seniors and help them age in place.
You know, I know I had a chance to talk to you about some of the ideas. And I love the fact that you take these millennials, these students, and put them in a real world situation to try to create something that will help solve the issue or challenge that one is dealing with. And as you know, the aging world is dealing with lots of challenges, and I know innovations, and I know you're familiar with the Aging 2.0. I mean, innovations in technology is such a key. And, we talked about it before, and I even shared the Saturday Night Live parody that they did with Amazon, the Alexa Echo. But, the fact that we can use voice activation to, make phone calls, to give us the news. The stuff is happening right now. And your students are the ones that are creating this stuff. Engineers are brilliant individuals.
That's right. I mean, what we actually, in the Technology Entrepreneurship and Management program, which is what I'm in, we have 800 students. We're the nation's only entrepreneurial degree based in an undergraduate degree based in a school of engineering. We also think that we are the nation's largest teacher of entrepreneurship online because 600 of those students actually take our classes online. So without trying very hard, we're a national program and an international program. So I'm looking for all kinds of opportunities to reach out across the nation and the world with projects, and we're doing that.
Well, we got one more segment up. I will tell you, Crystal and I may come up with some ideas for his students. I mean, these are our thought thinkers, our creators, our innovators for the future and the population that both of us serve.
Most certainly, and who can argue with the intergenerational aspect of it? I think it's just spectacular.
I do, too. Well, we're up against a break here. We're down 3 segments. We're having fun here in Scottsdale at the Air Park and Money Radio Studios. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Johnny Dean.
And I'm Rick, the Professor Plum.
Every day on Bucket Strategy Investing, we're talking about financial planning, investment decisions, and retirement strategies.
We focus on wealth education and the strategy designed for the needs you have today.
And the goals you have for the future. Tune in to Bucket Strategy Investing.
And call in with questions.
Retirement strategies, taxes, Social Security, and more. That's what we're talking about on Bucket Strategy Investing.
If you're listening to this message, then that's a good sign. In fact, we're always interested in good signs. Good signs identify people and places. Good signs communicate important information. With our business, we not only encourage good signs, we create them. We're Croy Sign Systems. Our signs identify, direct, and inform so you can navigate through life faster and easier. And that's a really good Croy sign. Call Croy Sign Systems today at 480-619-6070 or visit us online at kroysigns.com.
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now. 877-801-8832, 877-801-8832, 877-801-8832, 877-801-8832. This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
Learn how an insurance-covered comfortable knee or back brace can reduce your pain. Call 800-888-KNEE. 800-888-KNEE.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back. You're listening to Health Futures. Got a little Led Zeppelin bringing us in. Thank you, James. It's hard to believe we're on our 4th segment, and if you're just tuning in, I've got Laurie Fox, our client services representative from Cypress HomeCare Solutions. I got Richard Filley, a professor in the engineering School, part of the entrepreneurship program, and I got Crystal Littlejohn. She is the owner and operator of Geriatric Resources. It's a geriatric care management company. Richard, you did an amazing job in just one segment telling us a little bit about what you're doing, and just during our break, you gave us some real-world examples of some things that you're looking into where you haven't really solved issues, but addressing some of the issues. And if you could, in just a couple minutes here, share with our listening audience some of the things that your students are doing and will be doing maybe this coming fall.
Sure, I'd be happy to. This fall, in the classes I'm teaching, I'm going to have 470 students. 150 will be sitting in a big auditorium on campus, but the rest of those students are located online across the nation. So we always try to engage. We do this through the Polytechnic School at ASU. We find real-world examples. We use experiential learning where the students learn by doing. They get their hands on real problems because that really gets the students excited when they know that what they're doing makes a difference. And so we want to explore some of the issues of our day. So besides working with Aging 2.0, we're developing a new partnership with a company called R Riveter out of Southern Pines, North Carolina. It's a Shark Tank winner. Mark Cuban has put $100,000 into this company. I've been working with the co-founder of that company to see what some of the issues we might be able to help with. What they do is it's a group of Army wives, basically, across the nation who repurpose military uniforms and gear and turn them into fashionable items like purses for women and accessories.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
So what we want to do there is take a look at their manufacturing and supply chain operations to see how we can help with technology and maybe a fresh look at what they're doing. Then we also have a partnership with West Virginia University where we're going to be taking a look at coal communities, both in Arizona and the Navajo Reservation and in West Virginia, to look at once coal mining is gone, and we're staying out of the politics of that, but even for young people, how can they become entrepreneurial communities and communities that look to the future and use new technologies? We're also going to take a look at the opioid crisis and maybe see what we can do in a rural community here in Arizona and one in West Virginia. We don't have answers.
But we know the problems, and opioids are a great example. I mean, I think statistically we've lost like 670 lives here in our state alone because of the opioid issue, and I'm just so relieved to know that these students are working on this stuff. You know, they aren't accustomed to hearing that the words "you can't do it,"
right?
And that's the greatest thing about it. And for a company like, would you say it was Rivet?
R Riveter, R.Riveter.
R.Riveter. I
Miss
mean,
and Rosie the Riveter.
Yeah,
love it.
That's right.
And the greatest thing about that is that it's great for the students, but even better for the company. I mean, they get free, free service. They get this intellectual capital that is working on solving issues, like you said, supply chain issues. Amazing. It's the ultimate win-win.
It is,
and that I love.
And it's a great learning opportunity for students because otherwise, when you're using a textbook, you've got theoretical examples, and that's just not as much fun as talking to real people, solving real problems. That's what energizes students today, and that's what we're doing at ASU.
So these types of programs that Richard's describing to us here in the studio and for our listeners in the audience, he shared with me one of his classes because they work on real-world issues and real-world problems, and I'd love for you just to take just a minute to describe that one work group that you were working with where they were stalled.
Yeah, several years ago, I was working with a team of students, and they had come up with an idea they called Flash Food, and it was basically to figure out how to bring food to food deserts, which are a USDA designation for parts of a community where it's really hard for residents there to get access to affordable food. For instance, maybe there's not a grocery store. But they got stuck, and a great idea, but they weren't moving forward. And so one evening after class, I just sat down with them And we brainstormed and sort of went back to the beginning with a clean piece of paper. They did what entrepreneurs call a pivot. They sort of backed up, moved in a new direction. That was late in November. By March, they had been accepted by Microsoft to fly to Seattle as one of 20 university teams from top universities across the nation, and they won. So they were the U.S. champion of the Imagine Cup, the world's largest student technology competition.
I got chills. No, I think it's amazing work that you're doing and helping foster this entrepreneur spirit and this innovation spirit, and really, as Crystal was saying, this intergenerational thing is so important. I talk about intergenerational living, and I think intergenerational work together to help solve issues that are happening in our community, in our society, or in businesses in general is amazing, to tap into that intellectual capital that exists at ASU and in the engineering school and the entrepreneurship program. Amazing. We're wrapping up our show here, and Crystal, I want to turn to you and say, any final thoughts you want to leave with our listening audience as we close down our show today?
Absolutely. What I would recommend for anyone who is themselves beginning to struggle, or the loved ones who feel that their parents might be beginning to struggle, it's a great time to engage the services of a geriatric care manager. It doesn't mean that we have to be involved on the long term. Sometimes we can come in and do the evaluation, provide them with a roadmap that says, I think you can do a lot better if you just put these things in place. And oftentimes we know in our industry they could be minor things, but they mean everything to that senior who's at home and isolated and in need of assistance.
If they need to reach you, how do they reach you?
Area code 623-776-3098, or certainly our website at www.geriatricresources.az.com.
And I've been out to that site. It's robust with a lot of information. I've known Crystal for a long time. If you are listening in and you feel like you could benefit from her services or just talk to her, definitely reach out to her. We covered a lot of material here today, and as I said, the solution for aging lies in 3 areas. It lies in people, like Crystal Littlejohn, agencies like Cypress HomeCare and the caregivers that we have, and many, many others that are providing services to our community. Lies in innovation and technology, like Richard Filley's doing at ASU with his students, and then public policy. We got a call today. We'll be back next week. Thank you all.
Thank you for having me.
Take care.
Thank you.
There's no place like home. You've been listening to Bob Roth's Health Futures. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call Cypress HomeCare Solutions at 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Or visit cypresshomecare.com. Be sure to join Health Futures with Bob Roth every Friday at noon, right here on Money Radio 1510 and 105.3 FM.
Hey, Money Radio listeners, this is Gary Kaufbaum. Make sure you tune in for my show, Investor's Edge. You'll get my take on the markets and the world and what to look out for tomorrow. Investor's Edge is one of Money Radio's longest-running shows, so don't miss it.
You can listen to Investor's Edge Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. here on Money Radio 1510 AM and 105.3 FM.
Money Radio 1510
and 105.3 FM.
It's KFNN Mesa Phoenix and K287BX Mesa. Punch us up on your radio every day because we're still at 1510 AM, and now we're at 105.3 FM. The Dow up 19 at this hour, 21,379. The S&P flat, 2432. NASDAQ down 15 at 6150.
When people want to talk about money, this is the place they come to. And there's more on the way after this break for the latest news. And